Hey, ladies. Today we're talking about 5 back-end systems that I use in my 7-figure online Christian business and where to start. Like, what is the very first system that you should be really focused on creating, refining before you worry about all the other systems? Your mind is going to be blown. You guys, this is kind of like a peek into the back end of my business. Okay. Are you a Holy Spirit-led woman called to build a faith-based online business that disrupts the culture, sets people free, and leaves a legacy for the generations? If so, welcome to the Set Apart Online Business Podcast, the podcast for Christian coaches, course creators, entrepreneurs, and ministry leaders who are ready to scale to 6 and 7 figures without compromising their calling, and all while building set-apart families and set-apart businesses. I'm your host, Ashley June, MBA, 7-figure business coach, homeschool mama of 3, and founder of Eden, the Mastermind, and the Selah Collective group coaching program. I help women like you launch, grow, and scale biblically based online businesses that create income, impact, and kingdom legacy in less time. I'm talking 5 to 15 hours a week. You can build a life of freedom for your family through building generational wealth and all while having fun. So yes, ladies, I am often surfing in Costa Rica or sneaking away on ski trips in our beautiful Colorado mountains with my little crew. Here, we talk about business strategy, funnels, sales, launching, scaling, motherhood, culture, and the Holy Spirit edge of entrepreneurship. Because building a set-apart online business means stepping into the business battlefield with boldness, discernment, and the armor of God. Because God has set you apart and you don't have to build your online business like the world. So grab your electrolytes or reheat that same cup of coffee for the 3rd time. And let's step into today's episode with big visions and radical boldness. Let's go, girls. So ladies, I love systems, and I actually feel like I don't talk about it enough. I think it's something that I actually am, kind of skilled in to some extent. And I think it's something that, it's a piece of my knowledge that, I am always in systems with my teams and all the things, but I'm not necessarily teaching about systems that much. But systems really are one of the reasons that I have been able to build a 7-figure online business, right? And, so much of when you're scaling actually requires systems. Like if you want to hit the 7-figure mark, you need a system. To be honest though, guys, if you want to hit the 6-figure mark, you also need systems, right? And so, I just wanted to share, some of the systems, where to start, and, what would kind of make the most sense for you as you're starting to launch your online businesses, your online ministries, your online services, digital products, right? And I want to cover that, right? Before I go into that, you guys, though, I want to share the productivity playbook. It is my operational playbook where I teach you exactly how I actually organize all of these different systems in my business and how I make sure that my team is doing things day to day. It's a back-end tracker for everything that you're doing, from content to checking email every day to all the random small tasks that you want to make sure that you don't forget. And it is incredible. And so go get the productivity playbook if you don't have it. It's going to help you get really organized ASAP when it comes to your online business, so you can actually move the needle and do the profit generating activities instead of going to your computer every day and wondering, oh, what do I feel like working on? What should I maybe do today, right? It gives you structure and it gives you a plan for every single day. So go to the link in the show notes to get it. It is the productivity playbook. So the first system, ladies, that I think I really built, if I'm really going back to my journey, the first system that I built in my business was a launch system, okay? A launch system. Something that I could essentially use to launch an offer out into the world. And the nice thing about this now is once you create a launch system for launching an offer into the marketplace, you don't have to start from scratch every time you launch a new offer or you launch a new thing or you relaunch an offer, okay? And my launch system was really, truly built out through trial and error, joining programs, taking bits here, all the things. And the reason it was my first system was because if you have no clients, you have no money. And so the most important system to work on ASAP is a system that's going to help you launch your program, offer, service into the marketplace, right? And to this day, you guys, every time I go through a launch, I automate and I strengthen my launch system. I have a big launch board where I keep all my launch assets. This is emails and posts and things like reminding me to update my offer or reminding me to upgrade tech, or even like systems on training my team for helping out with my launch so I don't have to get too much into the day-to-day. I still am refining my launch system. And I actually have a couple different launch systems. I have launch systems, for big, long, multi-day challenge events. I have launch systems for, an evergreen funnel. I have launch systems for a single webinar, right? Like I have launch systems for lots of things. I have a launch system for my retreats when I sell out my retreats, right? And why these are so valuable, you guys, is that if you can figure out how to sell something and document those actions, you don't go into every offer launch feeling like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? And so even like our main signature program, the Selah Collective, it's our 12-month group coaching program, which ladies, you should get your application in if you are not in the program. It's incredible. This is really truly what we focus on. We focus on building out a launch system from 0 to 100K, right? It should get you to 100K, this one launch system, okay? We focus on building that out first, regardless if you have an audience, regardless if you have the best offer, all the things. Like, we want to get you launched ASAP because everything else will be added after the fact, right? And so sometimes you guys can spend so much time trying to build an audience and all these things and post on social media and do this and do that. And you spend years and years starting a podcast or whatever it might be. And it takes forever to build something, right, organically, to even see if maybe when you launch something that they'll buy. I take an opposite approach and I say, let's get something launched first and see what we're playing with even from the beginning. And then let's focus on more systems after the fact. Okay, so number one system, the first system that I really think you need to build is a launch system. The second system that I really think is the other most important pivotal piece of this is a lead generation system, okay? If you sell something, you need an audience to sell to eventually, right? When you are selling something for the first time, you have sort of what we would call like a beta audience, people who are in your direct network, friends, family, friends of friends, maybe connections on LinkedIn, maybe people who, have just kind of been in your world for a while, or friend of a friend, like whatever it is, right? And so when you launch something initially, many of you guys can actually do something organically because you have, people who, are interested in what you do. Maybe you're really involved in your church or have been really involved in the local community. Like, usually you have something, right, to start out with that you can test this little launch system on, right? But some of you guys don't. And if you don't, there is a solution, right? And after you walk through beta, you'll also kind of run out of those initial people from the beginning. It's like you have to refill the pond with fresh water. And so you need a lead generation system. And so once again, like, if you are going to sell something, you need to create a system that is going to bring leads into your world so that you can sell something to them. Okay. And this was probably the second system I really focused on building. And I originally did this through Facebook ads. Okay. I did this through Facebook ads pretty much at the beginning of my business after I went through my beta experience and proved my offer, right? Because I knew that it would be a waste of time for me to spend the next 1 to 2 years trying to organically build an audience. So instead of wasting my time, and not that it's a waste of time to build organically, because it's not, right? But for me, instead of wasting my time as a mom with 3 young kids, already grew a business organically, knew how long that took to kind of get that traction and all the things, I was like, I am not going to waste my time. I'm going straight to paid ads. I am bringing paid ads into the mix every single day, right? To really bring new people into my world. And even if they don't convert overnight, like, it's going to be an asset for my business, right? And so I did that through learning how to bring people into my world and into my audience through Facebook ads, okay? Then, guys, the next system that I created, and I guess I could kind of go like this is like lead generation, but then it's also like nurture, right? The next thing that I created for lead generation and or nurturing people was when I really launched my podcast and I started creating regular weekly content, right? And that started to define all the weekly content I was creating and how I was building an audience. But I didn't become consistent with organic content, truly, until I got really confident in launching my offer. And I got that practice of running through that. And I was building an audience around that and was showing up in different areas. Of course, I think I was doing more posting and praying, but I wasn't like, I'm posting on social media 5 times a week doing XYZ. I started that, you guys, when I started a podcast, right? And that was about because it was 2019. It was like 3 years into my online business, right? I got really good at selling, focusing on selling that process or the selling process with the launch system and the content around my launches and my offers, right? And then I created the podcast when I wanted to create more day-to-day accountability for myself in terms of creating content. And then that has only just continued to strengthen my paid ads, right? So like they work in the same, okay? The third system, you guys, that you want to have is some type of client onboarding and experience system. You have to have a process for starting with new clients, whether that's a questionnaire or telling them how they're going to set up meetings with you or giving them course access and other automations on the back end. This can be totally simple, you guys. You don't have to start with like crazy things, but document and systemize this so you know exactly what you're going to do to show up every day, and you're going to track that client journey with you, and you're going to make sure that you are actually delivering everything that you agreed to, right? Don't just shoot from the hip. Don't play it by ear. Like literally say, this is my client onboarding process to make sure they have everything that they need. And then I have an internal system to make sure that I am delivering everything that I have agreed upon, right? Super important, right? The fourth system, you guys, and this can almost go into the launch system a bit, is a sales system, okay? It's integrated into the launch process, but the sales system goes a bit further in terms of what happens during your offer launch, okay? How to move them along. So the question is, do you do sales calls? Do you applications, bonuses? And then how do you move them from being interested into an actual paying client? So let's say you have in your launch, you're, pitching your programs, all the things, and then you're directing them to a page that has applications, and your whole CTA is apply. Okay. Well, what happens after they apply, right? Like you have to have a sales system after they apply to actually convert them into a paying client. It's not just like application, here's checkout link, bam, right? Like you have to have some type of conversation, some type of relationship, some type of overcoming objections type experience, right? Like some of that has to be in there. Now you can automate more of this, especially like with a really strong launch system, right? But for example, something that I do in my live events and my live launches, I do straight to the sales page. They can enroll. So for the people who are like, I don't need a sales call. I have all the information that I need. They can enroll and bam, that works, right? But many of them actually opt to schedule a quick 15-minute sales call with me where we can talk about what they're doing, what they're wanting to build, all the things. They can get a chance to meet me. I can get a chance to meet them. We can work through objections, right? We can see if it's a good fit, all the things. And so I have sort of a sales process that if they get onto a call with me, I'm going to take them from interested into a paying client or from interested into not moving forward, depending on the fit, right? But you have to have some type of a sales system. In this as well, you guys, it's also going to be really important to have some type of follow-up system, right? Just because someone doesn't purchase something the first time, you want to think about, okay, well, how can I create a follow-up system that's going to check in with this person? When I was in the photography industry, so many photographers lost out on bookings because they would only respond to an inquiry like one time. And if they didn't hear anything back, they just figured that person wasn't interested. We are so busy in this day and age, you guys. How often is it easy to get an email or a phone call or a text message or whatever it is and completely forget about it, right? Completely forget about it, And so follow up is actually very, very important. Okay. And so what can you create in your sales pipeline, in a sales system of some sort, to make sure that you're tapping onto all of those opportunities? It's like, how do you maximize all of your opportunities? You need to have a process for this, right? And this is where you can really go crazy with optimization. Now, the fifth system, you guys, is what I'm going to call the daily task system. This is actually something I give you in the productivity playbook. I show you exactly what we do, a great place to get started, how you can start documenting these things, how you can organize it, and this is so helpful because there are so many small things in your business that you don't realize are consistent recurring activities. Okay. And so like you need to be doing things regularly, like checking email and responding to social media, responding to your clients, engaging with new people, maybe, tracking those sales pipeline conversations, maybe tracking metrics and looking at funnel data and all the things, right? Like there's so much that you can do. So many of those little like check, that if you're not intentional and you don't have a system to actually check off daily tasks or weekly tasks, monthly tasks, quarterly tasks, right? That you are literally going to be operating from chaos, right? And so a daily task system, that's how you create like a daily rhythm, right? And like I said, I give you our exact system in the productivity playbook. I literally use this with my team every single day. Very easy, very simple. No weird softwares and everything. Like it's incredible, right? And it is something that has really just helped me stay really organized. And it helps me open up, our master business document for the year and say, oh, this has been done. This has been done. Oh, why is so-and-so not completing this? Oh, I forgot to check this off, right? Like it helps us stay on track of everything that we're doing. Right. And so, but you want to make it daily. You want to make it weekly, monthly, whatever, like, so you do not forget. Okay. And so at the end of the day, guys, like, sure, you could get to your first 6 figures without great systems, but you will burn out and you will get to a point where you start disappointing people because you're so disorganized, right? And so it's much easier to start developing some habits and rhythms and consistency around these basic things at the beginning, right? Because it will really set you up for success. This is how I have been able to maintain working about 5 to 15 hours a week. I'm not even joking. These systems, right? And then the crazy thing is too, sometimes these types of systems are some of the hardest to train team members on because they're very process oriented, right? And it is so like our humanity, like our brains, we just want to jump all around. We want to go here. We want to go there. Shiny object. Oh, I feel like this. Oh, I don't feel like this. I'm going to avoid it. Right. And it's something that with anything, habits and systems will change your life. Right. And so kind of becoming like a systems Nazi, we're here, right? Like we got to become like a systems Nazi. Right. And stay focused on walking through this stuff so you can buy your freedom in the future. Not even joking, you guys. I have been able to purchase my freedom, right? My business freedom because of good systems, right? Because I can be out of a lot of the day-to-day things. But that's something that you can start building from day one of your business, okay? And so they will change your life. Once again, ladies, go check out the Productivity Playbook. It is fantastic. It is an amazing, amazing program that is something that my heart just loves it, honestly. It is something that will keep you so focused on your business. It's easy to understand. It's easy to kind of create some rhythms. And even if it's like creating 5 minutes of rhythms a day in your online business, like it will make a big difference because you get to clear it from your head. You get to check things off. You get to track and monitor progress to make sure that you are actually doing those things. And then you eventually get to outsource, which is honestly the goal, right? It's the goal to kind of, keep you in your zone of genius in teaching, coaching, helping people, right? And having things running behind the scenes when you're ready to build a team. So Productivity Playbook is great for that. Go to the link in the show notes to officially get it. And yeah, can't wait, ladies. Hey girl, hey! If you were loving this episode, please leave a 5-star rating and a written review on our show. If you happen to screenshot it and email it to us at team@wildandradiant.com, we're going to thank you, celebrate you, and we just want to make make sure you're part of this Set Apart movement. Plus, ladies, other ladies will get to see this show. They will get to see the episodes. They will get to listen to all the goodies in here. And when you leave a review, you help us pop up easier for that show. So 1, we would love it if you would do that. 2, please share this episode with your business besties, the ones who are done with hustle culture, tired of watered down marketing, and ready to build Holy Spirit-led online businesses with fire, strategy, and biblical truth. I know you have one out there that you're thinking of right now, right? Share it. Hit share. Hit send. Okay? And ladies, if you're looking to launch your online business and grow to that first 100K, I want you inside of the Salem Collective. It's my signature group coaching space for Christian women who are ready to activate their calling and build with biblical clarity and proven strategy. If you've already hit 6 figures or well on your way, and you're ready to scale in a place of overflow and rest so you can get to your first 500K to 1 million, then you need to apply for Eden, the Mastermind, where kingdom leaders rise, multiply, and take spiritual and digital ground together. Lastly, ladies, head to ashleyjunco.com to learn more. I'm praying bold prayers over your business. Let's radically go do the thing. I'll see you in the next episode.